So the PS2, Xbox and GameCube generation was a very different time for video games. This was an era where developers would hide completely unnecessary details, ridiculous secrets, and genuinely weird ideas in their games, knowing that most players would probably never even see them. And somehow, that's exactly what made these games so memorable. So today we're going back to the 6th generation to look at some of the awesome hidden details that made this era of gaming so special. And we're starting with the Simpsons Hit and Run. Now everybody knows just how good the Simpsons Hit and Run was. I mean, let's face it, it's just a more family-friendly GTA. But that's definitely not a bad thing when it's done so well. Well, I say family-friendly, because one tiny detail at Mr. Burns' mansion is genuinely disturbing. You see, Mr. Burns has a human-sized chessboard in his garden, which is a very typical billionaire thing to do. The only problem is, these aren't just human size. So the human-sized chess pieces are human-sized because there are actually humans inside. I mean, we all know that Mr. Burns is evil, but imprisoning people inside giant chess pieces is crazy, even for him. Speaking of Grand Theft Auto, up next is GTA San Andreas. Now, a big part of San Andreas was the ability to shape CJ any way you like. And I mean that very literally. You see, if you decided to treat CJ like a slob, as in eating lots of fast food and doing next to no exercise, he would get fat, which even to this day remains impressive. Now you might think that this is just a cosmetic change, but it actually affects how CJ plays. For example, when CJ is slim and in shape, not only can he shoot 3-pointers like a pro, but he's also able to dunk the ball like prime Dr. J. Well, when CJ's fat, he's not quite as skilled. So no matter how hard you try, you cannot dunk the ball when playing as fat CJ. I make that gravity 1, CJ 0. Sticking with Rockstar, up next is Bully, which is the winner of the games that need a sequel but won't get one because Rockstar makes too much money on GTA Online award. Oh, and the runner-up was Manhunt, by the way. Anyway, with Bully being a schoolboy simulator, you'll be doing all the things that schoolboys do. Okay, not all the things, but you will be attending lessons, running away from prefects, and being inappropriate towards classmates. Well, when walking behind a male classmate, you can press the B button on Xbox and do this.
Another crushing blow for Fatty.
So you can give a male classmate the classic wedgie. Well, if you try to wedgie a female, this will happen.
Ouch!
So instead of wedging the girl, Jimmy will instead pinch her bum. I mean, is it inappropriate? Yes. And is it something that we probably wouldn't see in a game today? Also yes. Continuing on with inappropriate video game humour, if there are any hippos watching right now, you might want to leave the room. The Tony Hawk games were full of edgy little jokes, and Tony Hawk 4 might have one of the strangest of them all. If you play the zoo level in Tony Hawk 4, you can witness true love in its purest form. So you did see that right. That was Django Fett riding a skateboard and then witnessing 2 hippos making love. If that doesn't bring a tear to your eye, I don't know what will. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but I love it when NPCs actually notice that my character is there. Even if it's just a small piece of dialogue or a subtle animation change, knowing that what you're doing actually has an impact is always cool. One brilliant example of this can be seen in Max Payne 2. At the police station, you can find 2 off-duty officers relaxing and watching a bit of TV. Well, you can be a real pain in the arse.
He said it!
And do this.
Hey, we're watching that.
And now, Lords and Ladies continues.
Get out of the way, Payne.
Mama, I tried to stop him, but he is beyond reason.
Hey, we were watching that, asshole.
Mistress.
So not only do they react to you turning the TV off, but they also become annoyed when you stand in front of it. It's such an unnecessary detail, but you have to admit, it's really cool. Now, I'm not going to repeat the same old point that most DLC nowadays would have been in-game unlockables during the 6th generation, but Well, it is true. Loads of games had special costumes, weapons, and even levels that could be unlocked by just playing the game. The original Resident Evil 4 had loads of cool things to unlock, and two of those cool things were the Chicago typewriter and the stylish 1930s gangster costume, which make quite the pair for those looking to live out their Al Capone dreams. Minus the neurosyphilis-related death. Anyway, not only do these unlockables look the part, they also come with a really cool secret, as when you reload with both items equipped, this will happen. So Leon will take a break from all the zombie killing and cheesy one-liners to bust out a Michael Jackson-inspired pose. Or at least that's what I think he's going for. It could just be Leon being Leon. Now, the 6th generation was full of licensed games. Some of them brilliant, and well, a lot of them definitely weren't. Here's the thing. Even the bad licensed games still had their moments. In the Spider-Man movie game, you have to complete a very straightforward tutorial that's narrated by Bruce Campbell, aka Ash from The Evil Dead and the wrestling announcer from the first Spider-Man movie. Now, given that it's a tutorial, it's obviously easy, but if you do somehow manage to die to the game's very first enemy, which is one of the hardest things to do in the entire game, this will happen.
Okay, well, you just got pounded by the weakest enemy in the entire game. That's not something you're going to want to brag about, alright? Now, luckily for you, you can practice here until guys like this are just speed bumps on the way to bigger bad guys. Of course, if you suck, you'll just stay here forever.
So Bruce will carefully explain that it's probably not a good sign that you died to the very first enemy in the game. But luckily you can practice here until you learn how to press buttons. Another licensed game that did something cool is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and you don't have to do anything to see it. If you leave Harry idle for around a minute or so, this will happen. So Harry will turn around to look at you and ask you to come back. I mean, it's a small detail, but at least he was polite. Because the next person definitely isn't. In Midnight Club 2, you spend most of the game trying to get from A to B as fast as possible. I mean, it's a racing game after all. Well, if you decide to take a pit stop whilst driving a motorbike, your chosen rider won't be best pleased. So, unlike Harry, who politely asks you to come back, the biker in Midnight Club 2 sticks their middle finger up. I mean, it's worth mentioning that this game was developed by Rockstar, so I suppose we shouldn't be too surprised. Now, pausing a game is something that we've all done before, and to be honest, most pause screens are the same. A menu will pop up, maybe a song will play, and then the game patiently waits for you to return. Well, in Wario World, all of that is true, except the song sounds like this. So yeah, that's pretty annoying. Well, if you survive that audio torture for 1 whole hour, this will happen.
Sorry.
So after an hour of that music, Wario will briefly interrupt and apologise. I mean, that is the least he can do, but even after the apology, the music continues playing. So I don't think he's sorry at all. Now, something that I love in video games are realistic water physics. Well, more specifically, leaking water physics. I think it's brilliant when you shoot something and you can watch the water pour out realistically. And that's something that I first remember seeing in Splinter Cell 1. And it's as satisfying to watch now as it was back then. So shooting the fish tank will cause the water to leak until it reaches where you shot. Of course, the more you shoot the tank, the more it will leak until it finally smashes. So Sam Fisher doesn't just leave behind a trail of terrorists, apparently a couple of goldfish are collateral damage too. And that's exactly why I love going back to games from this era. None of these details needed to be there. Most players probably never even noticed them, and some of them are completely ridiculous. But that's what made the PS2, Xbox and GameCube generation so memorable. So if you enjoyed the video, let me know which 6th generation games you think I should look at next. And as always, thank you all for watching.